Good morning, dzień dobry, kalimera, buongiorno, etc., etc. Great to be here and welcome if this is your first time on the Jeremy Thomas Talks front or on the Shed Talks front. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, this is a video blog and it's given at a time when things are a little bit tricky, where I think we're all a little bit worried about what's going on in Ukraine, Russia. Some of us sort of listen perhaps too much to the media, get bombarded with awful stories, and it just makes us too anxious and, freaked out and worried. And the trick is not to listen to the media all day. Listen about that. This is about a good story. This is what happened to me yesterday. Basically, I was invited to attend a function in the House of Commons. Houses of Parliament by the British Royal Society of Psychiatry. Very nice of them to consider inviting me, but they did. And I went and I thought, great, I'm not that cynical. I thought, oh my God, marvelous to be invited to that building and that illustrious company. And I went and I stood outside the whole of Parliament, and there was a little demonstration going on, lots of people shouting quite rude things about Boris Johnson, and through megaphones, he's not a banker, not a tanker, and all sorts of things. And I thought to myself, how great that we are able to live in this country, a democracy where people are able to say things like that right next to where that person is and not get hauled off to Siberia or whatever the British equivalent is. And I thought that was wonderful. And as I walked through the grounds, I saw there was a memorial stone for PC Keith Palmer, who sadly lost his life defending that building, when there was a major nutcase, Mahmoud, who stabbed, I think, 7 people to death, including PC Palmer. So that sort of, sharpened me up looking at that. Went inside, and of course, it's, if anyone has been or hasn't been, go if you can. The fantastic, great hall, really, really brilliant. Anyway, to the matter at hand, I went to the do, which was held in the Churchill Room, and it was, as I say, hosted by the Royal College of Psychiatrists. And basically what they were trying to do, they wanted to celebrate the fact that they have opened a centre, and it's Public Mental Health Implementation Centre. In other words, where they can start to really try and help people in, talking about mental health. People can go in, find out, visit this place. And it's pretty unusual to do this. And it's something I think that we've needed, very much so for years, but we need them all over the place, really. Anyway, they were lucky because the whole affair was hosted by an MP, a young MP, called Jonathan Gullis. He's MP for Stoke-on-Trent. And amongst other speakers, he spoke. And this was interesting for me because I'm normally the one speaking. So I was, poacher and gamekeeper. And he actually was very honest and frank and candid, and spoke about his own childhood experiences of poor mental health, which I won't detail here, but they were quite, oh my God. And I think a lot of the audience, which consisted of MPs, people who worked in Parliament, people connected to the Royal College of Psychiatrists, everyone was quite, choked up. But he's launching his own mental health campaign, which we will talk about another time. But one of the things he's trying to do is to put a mental health nurse in every GP surgery. Something I think is a cracking idea. And in fact, the Sainsbury Foundation, gosh, going way, way back, I mean, like 10, 12 years more, were also trying to do. So, it was good. And there were other people who spoke, and lots of people spoke about being prevention being better than cure, which is the message that I propagate in my talks. And that was really good. And I met some really interesting people. I met the man who looks after all the geriatric, he's in charge of geriatric psychiatry for the Royal College, a lovely Indian man called Mani, who was really good fun and interesting. And he said, why don't you have some older people on your shed talks? And you're quite right. I hadn't thought of it like that. So we will be doing that. And I was very interested to hear Jonathan Gillis, and I want to see whether he would be interested in coming on the shed talks. But all of this is really good. It's sort of positive, good vibes, even though one can say, well, you should have done it 10 years ago. It doesn't matter. We're doing it now. And I want to go to the center and check it out and see what it's like and see if there's anything I can do, to help or interact with them. So all in all, Tres Bon loved my trip there. And, sometimes it's great not to be cynical. So remember, if you want to be in good shape, don't watch TV all day and listen to the radio, read the press all day about what's going on. Get yourself balanced, and that way we can react and deal with things in a good way. And I will resist saying what I think we should do as a country regarding a certain individual whose name begins with P and ends in N. Teeth is what we need. Okay, you have been great listening. Thank you very much. And onwards and upwards, we will meet again one sunny day. Okay.